Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wall Street Journal Report. I'm Maria Bartiromo. A symbol of American capitalism set to change hands. Who's planning on buying the New York Stock Exchange and why? The fiscal cliff clock ticking down. Real estate roars back. What it all means for your money. And then the hottest holiday toys. Last-minute ideas for the kids in your life, or at least the kids at heart. And why everything old is new again. The Wall Street Journal Report begins right now.
This is America's #1 financial news program, The Wall Street Journal Report. Now, Maria Bartiromo.
Here's a look at what's making news as we head into a new week on Wall Street. Big changes for an American icon, a symbol of capitalism and Wall Street. The New York Stock Exchange is being sold to ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange, an Atlanta-based derivatives trading exchange. The deal valued at $8.25 billion. Profits at the NYSE have shrunk largely due to electronic trading, lower trading volumes, and initial public offerings. ICE is interested in the NYSE because of its profitable London-based derivatives exchange and access to European-based derivatives trading. The market could not make its mind up this week, the Dow posting the first back-to-back triple-digit gain since July, but followed up with the worst day in a month. All the moves based on, well, what else? Sentiment around the fiscal cliff deal. The economy, though, is looking stronger than many analysts had expected. The final reading of the gross domestic product was revised upwards to 3.1% for the third quarter. That's up from a previous level of 2.7%. The GDP is the broadest measure of the size and strength of the U.S. economy. And Uncle Sam is getting out of the auto business. The Treasury Department announcing a plan to sell its remaining shares in GM in the next 12 to 15 months. That after bailing out the giant automaker in 2008. The move will cost taxpayers about $12 billion, but saved more than 1 million jobs in the industry. Well, there's not much time left before the Bush tax cuts expire and the automatic spending cuts kick in, the dreaded fiscal cliff that will likely have a powerful impact on the economy. Can Washington actually come to an agreement, and what's going on behind the scenes? Joining me now is Don Peebles. He's chairman and CEO of the Peebles Corporation, a real estate development company. Don was also a leading fundraiser for President Obama, and it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us, Don.
Thank you.
So a lot of drama happening in Washington. Let's talk about the fiscal cliff. What's your take on how this plays out now with what? Just a few days left in the year to get this deal done.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to come back right after Christmas. I think that we'll see them back in early January to make a compromise. And I think that compromise is going to end up being in between where the president is now and where the speaker is now.
So, okay, so you think we go off the fiscal cliff then?
Yeah, I do.
All those spending cuts take effect in January. That could lead to layoffs. Do you think we will see the economy hit recession? That was the expectation, right?
No, I don't. That is the expectation, but I don't think so. I think there's been a lot of drama about this, especially on the tax increase side. The tax increase side is symbolic because in the end of the day, the tax increases are not going to have any impact on the deficit, any impact on controlling our spending. What's going to happen is the spending cuts, and I think that's where the speaker was having difficulty getting support, is not being specific about where these cuts are coming from.
Where should the cuts come from? I mean, we hear a lot about Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security being the drivers of the debt. Do you have to make significant cuts in the entitlements to really make a difference?
If not cuts immediately, structural changes. And that's the problem with the government. That's the problem with this Congress in particular, is that they wait till the last minute and they try to cram all this stuff down instead of making a structural change. And what needs to happen is a structural change on Medicare, Social Security, and also Medicaid. And then we need to look at some of the other spending areas as well. We're still talking about, about less than 40% of the government in terms of our budget that's being discussed about where we're going to take cuts from. And we really need to look at the entire government. And they can't do that in 20 days of helter-skelter rushing. I'm hopeful that they would come to their senses, do a short-term temporary measure, and then have a comprehensive review that takes place in the first quarter of next year, like any business would do it.
You make a lot of sense, Don. It just seems like we need structural change to these programs because we can't afford them the way they're going right now, right?
That's right. And also, our Americans' lives have changed. Look, Social Security was a very good idea and still is a good idea, but we're living a lot longer now than when Social Security was originally started. And so we're much more productive. For example, I see people every day who are working in their 70s and 80s, yet alone retiring at 65 years old. So I think that there when someone's eligible for Social Security has to change as well. We have to update these entitlements to based on where the country is today and where human beings are today.
You know, Don, I want to talk about the underlying economy, really what's going on, because we hear so much about housing having bottomed. So amidst all of this uncertainty that we're talking about in terms of the fiscal cliff, you've also got some strength happening in the underlying economy. I mean, the worry is that reverses if we go over the cliff. Talk to us about real estate and about housing. You're so uniquely qualified to talk about this sector being a developer in so many cities.
Yeah, you know what, look, I think you look at housing and it's a bright spot of the economy. And it's, I think, what's going to help propel our economy back. You know, Miami, for example, one of the first to go down steeply along with Las Vegas. And we operate in both of those cities. Prices are up in Las Vegas now 7% and Miami 8%. So you're seeing tremendous upside in housing.
But these are some of the areas that really plummeted.
Yes.
Yeah, so now they're coming back from low bases.
Yeah, but then San Francisco's coming back as well. Miami roared back, for example. Miami's inventory is lower than it was in its peak. Its price increases are happening more rapidly than during the last peak in the marketplace back in '06 when the market really peaked there.
Fascinating. So how important is this for the overall economy that you're seeing these hot spots of real development and bursts of energy in certain cities?
Very important because, one, of course, as the inventory shrinks and prices increase, there's a greater demand for new construction. Also, most Americans' net worth is tied up into their homes, and now their net worth has gone up. So they're more optimistic about the economy. They'll begin to spend more as well. Also, people can start selling their homes and moving to other places where there are jobs. And there's also going to be a free up of entry-level housing as well.
So what kind of a year are you expecting in 2013?
Oh, I think a good year. I think if the government can just get out of the way, go ahead and tell us what the rules are going to be, whatever they're going to be, make the rules, step up to the plate and act responsibly, make some decisions, then I think that the free market system and our business leaders and businesses, small business owners, will make it work.
Are a lot of people in business talking about what's going on with guns and the potential for new gun legislation? I mean, this week we saw sporting goods chain Dick's stop selling assault rifles. Private equity firm Cerberus saying it's going to sell its interest in the Freedom Group, a gun company, all in the wake of the tragedy that we're still in mourning over in Connecticut. Do you think we'll see real change in gun laws? Yeah,
because I think the president is committed to bringing something forward very quickly. Senator Feinstein is bringing something up as well. I don't think there's any business person that I've come across it over the last week or so that has not talked about what's happened here and talked about guns. And there is no case to be made for some reasonable basis to have assault weapons in the hands of the average citizens. There's no rational case for that. But this is another example of where the laws get outdated with modern society. We talked about Social Security. Let's look at gun control, for example, the right to bear arms. Sure, when we were protecting ourselves in the embryonic stages of our nation's founding. But today, where does that stop? Does it mean we can have many nuclear weapons at home too? So the right to bear arms and our constitutional right has to be reflected to what the founding fathers had in mind, and they definitely did not have any idea that people would have rapid machine guns in their homes.
You make a lot of sense, Don. Great to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Don Peebles joining us. Up next on the Wall Street Journal Report, it's not too late to buy a last-minute holiday gift for the kids on your list. The CEO of Toys R Us will join me next. And when it comes to the hottest sellers, he's not playing around. And later, charitable giving at this or any time of the year, the why and how behind the art of doing good. As we take a break, take a look at how the stock market ended the week. Back in a moment. So what is playing well in the 2012 holiday shopping season this time of year represents about 20% of annual retail sales, meaning tough competition for consumer attention. But my next guest hopes that leaves room for a little fun as well. Jerry Storch is with me. He's CEO of Toys R Us, the world's largest dedicated toy retailer. Jerry, it's always nice to see you.
It's great to be here.
Oh my God, great to see you. So does all the drama over the fiscal cliff and this uncertainty about the economy weigh on consumers? How are you expecting this season to play out?
Well, I don't have any doubt that it does weigh on consumers. It's in the news constantly. People are worried about it. But having said that, we're talking about Christmas here. This is no minor holiday.
Right.
And so, Christmas is going to come on Tuesday. It is Christmas Day. And consumers have to get shopping. And the last thing that parents want to cut back on is the holiday present for their child for Christmas.
It's true. So I want to go through all the toys that you brought, but what are you expecting in terms of this Christmas holiday shopping season? Anything that we should look at as far as the real gauges?
Well, you know, it's all going to come down to the last weekend, to the last few days before
Even Christmas Eve, people.
Even Christmas Eve, and at Toys R Us, just to make sure, we are open 24 hours all the way through until 10 p.m. Christmas Eve night. So there's still plenty of time. If you haven't bought the toy, get out there now, get off the couch, go to Toys R Us. We're open all night.
Okay, that's good. 24 hours. Wow.
24 hours.
So does that really help? Being open all up? I mean, that was the debate around Thanksgiving, right? People were like, save Thanksgiving. We don't want to shop on Thanksgiving night.
There's no doubt that it helps this time of year. A lot of people have procrastinated because Christmas feels like it's very late this year. We have the most number of days between Thanksgiving and Christmas you can possibly have. A very early Thanksgiving, followed by Christmas that, you know, last year was on a Sunday. This year is not till a Tuesday. And so people are waking up now and realizing, oh my gosh, I get it going. Christmas is coming on Tuesday.
And it will come.
Yeah.
So every year, Toys R Us makes a hot toy list. That's what I want to get into. Tell us what you anticipate to be the hot sellers.
Well, I brought some things that are updated as of this moment.
Oh, I love it.
Right?
Okay.
As of 2 days before Christmas.
Great.
These are the must-haves that you need, and we've got them in stock at Toys R Us. So
Legos. Okay, Legos are
Legos have always been hot. They're on a tear. People love Legos. They have the best licenses, the best properties. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Legos.
You said this just came in.
This just came in, and actually it's only at Toys R Us right now, and it just came in. It's kind of next year's product this year. The Turtles are really hot. All the action figures we had are selling out like crazy. This is Legos. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's selling very well.
You said Legos is now the hottest toy company by far.
Of the large toy companies, it's by far the most rapidly growing company. People love Legos. There's a learning component to it. It helps, you know, everyone thinks it helps develop the brain a little bit to work in the construction. Is that good for boys and girls? Well, what's so interesting is I brought Lego Friends here, and Lego frankly has struggled with girls throughout its entire existence until now, until this year. Lego Friends is doing fantastic with girls. It has little dolls that you construct, as well as this is the Lego Friends Summer Riding Camp. And girls just love horses, and this has been a runaway hit, Lego Friends for girls.
So you have Mutant Teenage Ninja Turtles, and then you have the Friends.
Lego Friends.
And what was it?
And
Lego Galaxy Squad Bug Obliterator.
This is another new theme. This is another new theme, a space theme for Lego this year.
Okay.
And again, it is something that we've got first to market. It just brought into the stores over the last week or two. It's really next year's product this year, because we're so close to Christmas. We're able to get some sneak peeks at some new products like this. And this is going to be a big space theme for Lego for next year. And they have really complex stories built into each one of these. You can read about online about why they're obliterating bugs in outer space.
I love it.
Don't worry about it. Galaxy Squad is great.
All right, what else is on the hot toy list?
Well, we have these Dream Lights. These are great for a younger kid, and you may have seen these on television. There's a whole variety of them, and they make light patterns and sounds on the ceiling and help children at night.
So this is infant?
This is preschool, we call it,
Preschool.
but infant to preschool. That's
Okay.
right. Then this is from Jake and the Neverland's Pirates, a very popular Disney Junior property this year, and this is the musical ship Bucky. This is the pirate ship from that series, and again, this is preschool up to the young toddler. This is really a fantastic toy too.
Love it.
And then finally, not to be left out, I brought Angry Birds air swimmers. This is radio control air swimmers, and what that means is that the fellow in red there actually flies, and he can be controlled with this remote control to attack the other one, and he can dive or climb. And he swims with his tail there. You can see him swimming and attack the other one. This one is the if you played Angry Birds, this is the one that you're knocking down, and he's the guy who's doing it.
Incredibly
it
popular,
flies all
right?
over your house.
Incredibly popular.
Well, it's so much fun. Even the crew here, when we were starting to film this, they all flocked to that one. They all want the flying Angry Birds. And why not?
Right.
Talk about bringing a virtual world to the physical world and making it real life. There you have it.
Oh, I love it. What great toys, and we really appreciate you bringing
them. A lot of fun. And Christmas is here. Go shopping.
Exactly. Jerry, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Great to see you.
Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Jerry Storch joining us, Toys R Us. Up next on the Wall Street Journal Report, how giving back is a serious business, why the hard work of doing good leads to its own rewards. And you can find us on Facebook/Maria Bartiromo. Back in a moment. Doing good isn't business. business as usual in today's world of philanthropy. It requires the same entrepreneurial zeal demanded by successful startups. My next guest was chairman of organizations like Seagram's and the Montreal Expos and has some advice for turning a passion into action. Charles Bronfman and Jeffrey Solomon are the co-authors of The Art of Doing Good. Gentlemen, good to have you on the program.
Good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. So this is the second book you two have co-authored, right, on philanthropy. Who's the primary audience for this book?
This one is for everybody because what we've done is highlight 18 social entrepreneurs who started with nothing and to show all the problems that they went through and how they made it. And in one or two cases didn't quite make it.
It's a great way to look at it. And the 18 social entrepreneurs, you want to offer a game plan for launching effective nonprofits. What's a social entrepreneur? Tell me about the way entrepreneurial skills can be used for doing good.
Well, the dynamics between a business entrepreneur and a social entrepreneur are the same, except there aren't capital markets for the social entrepreneur. There isn't the financial potential bottom line for the social entrepreneur. But the social entrepreneur is driven by that same passion of an idea of how do we make the world better in a more effective way. So one young man, Jordan Caslow, who we feature, was in optometry school and went to Central America and saw, when he put eyeglasses on a 7-year-old who thought he was blind, saw that that very nearsighted boy's life was changed. And he decided he's going to become the lens crafters for the third world. How
wonderful. That's a great story, actually. Were you inspired yourself by some of these individuals? What did you learn?
Oh, yes. Well, you learned that if people have had tragedy happen to them, or if there's something in their lives that influenced them mightily, that then if they had more than just the normal amount of courage and more than the normal amount of passion, they took this difficulty and turned it into something that did good for others and saved other people's lives.
Charles, you've signed the Giving Pledge.
Yes, I have.
Originated by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, promising to give away half your fortune to charity.
Well, it's not an unusual thing, actually, in this country, because I think that what the Buffetts and Gates of this world are really saying to people is you have a choice of two things. When you die, you either give your fortune, or as much as you want of your fortune, to things you care about, or you give it to the government. So it's not that tough a decision. But that said, I think it will get a lot of people to give more than they had thought of heretofore.
And so you are currently spending down the endowment of the Andrea and Charles Bronfman philanthropies. But why put yourself out of business? I mean, right? But you're right. You make a great point. You make a great point about either it's the government or give it to where you want it to see it go.
Well, I'll tell you, there's another thing. I mean, I could talk all kinds of wonderful things that I didn't want to rule from the grave and so on. But actually, after the Vivendi disaster, we had to make a decision. I'll let Jeff tell you how we went about that.
And the default position with foundations is they're going to go into perpetuity. Perpetuity is a long time. And we know from many foundations today that the donor's intent does not continue for many generations. And the energy and the passion in the giving doesn't necessarily continue. So we're seeing, and Bill Gates is a perfect example, Bill and Melinda have decided that their foundation will spend down within 50 years of their death. We're seeing more and more foundations use spend down as a way to have more resources for today's problems and focus dramatically on what they do.
Jeff, are there particular areas of need or charity that you'd like to see increased entrepreneurship? Anything that looks primed for innovation to you right now?
You know, the genius of American philanthropy, which leads the world by far, is number one, voluntarism. Number two, as an American industry, innovation. So I think we are seeing in, for example, education, dramatic change taking place in terms of charter schools, in terms of focusing on STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and math, things that will transform American education, which will transform the American economy.
That's a very good point. And a lot of, right now, across the country, you're seeing certain areas become rewired.
Absolutely.
For what you're talking about,
That's
technology
right.
and science. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great to have you on the program. Charles
Pleasure.
Bronfman and Jeffrey Solomon. Up next on the Wall Street Journal Report, we'll take a look at the news this upcoming week that will have an impact on your money. And then what a buttonwood tree and ice have in common. Stay with us. We have some big news to tell you about. Beginning in January, we will have a new name. Look for On the Money with Maria Bartiromo. We'll have some exciting new segments for you, great guests, and of course, I'll be here as well. Join us in January. First, though, take a look at the stories coming up in the week ahead that may move the market and impact your money this week. Monday is a shortened trading day on Wall Street. The New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ closing early for Christmas Eve. And Tuesday, of course, is Christmas Day. All markets are closed in observance of the holiday. The rest of the week, light on economic news. Wednesday's S&P Case-Shiller Index will tell us about home price changes across the country. And then on Thursday, new home sales for the month of November will also be out. Earlier in the program, we told you about the deal in which the New York Stock Exchange will be acquired by the ICE. Now a little history. In 1792, 24 stockbrokers gathered under a buttonwood tree at 68 Wall Street. They established rules for buying and selling stocks and bonds. The exchange opened its doors at the current address in 1903 and dominated trading throughout much of the 20th century. But as electronic trading came in and volume slowed, the New York Stock Exchange looked for a partner. And now it has one. The deal really the end of an era. That'll do it for us for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Next week, a look back at the stories, the stocks, and the people who made 2012. Each week, keep it right here where Wall Street meets Main Street. Have a great week, everybody. Merry Christmas. I'll see you next weekend.